Howdy. Howdy doobie. Welcome to our June meeting, everybody. Give yourselves a round of applause for showing up. That's a great start. We got a lot of cool stuff that we're going to talk about today. The first of which, I like to start every meeting off by recognizing outstanding activism. We recently had our biggest event that we've ever done, the Texas Regional NORML Conference, and it took a tremendous effort from the largest volunteer force that we've ever employed here at DFW NORML. We're going to thank some people real quick and then thank a few specific people, and then we're going to move on to a couple of other new things. So I'm going to turn it over to the secretary of this chapter, Kelsey Beene. Everybody.
First, we would like to recognize one of our Cannabis All-Stars for the month. This guy is relatively new to volunteering for NORML, and the reason we decided to go ahead and pick him is because he worked his butt off all 3 days at the conference. At Froggy's, he was at the table from start to finish. Saturday, he was at the registration table with me all morning, and Sunday, he was at the merge table all day. And it's volunteers like that is what we need to keep DFW NORML booming. And so on behalf of DFW NORML, we would like to recognize J.B. Wilson.
Come on up. Come up.
You can come up these steps or different ones. And we are giving him one of our hemp backpacks. And it says, Pack NORML with Rick Stevens. So here you go. Steve, sorry. If you want to say anything, you can. If not. Thanks, everybody. All right. Give him a round of applause because he did awesome. Okay, and so now I have a pretty long list of people who made the conference happen. And as I call your name, please stand and continue standing so that we can applaud everybody at the end. So here we go. Loretta Labrada, Ashley Eichner, Adam Hess, J.R.D. Dement, J.R. Rodriguez, Jordan Hetchler, Matt Logston, Ash Subfamitra, Mikey Burns, Valenti, Aaron Margoliner, Aaron Gutnick, all of the modified models, including Corey, Trish Gallo, Rachel Forrester Duran, Eric Moreno, Andrea, a.k.a. Andra Brown, Eric Espinoza, Steve Williams, Carl Newman, Bobby Boyd, Mario and Marcy, Lynette G., Scotty, Kat Parkhill, Leslie, Patrick, and Kyle Smithwick. Thank you so incredibly much for the hard work that you did at the conference. Thank you. And I would also like to recognize some of our board members who spoke. Leslie, Larry Talley, Tristan Tucker, Will Jenkins, and then a non-board member, Stuart Guss, and then Pete Marrero for making the conference happen. Thank you so much. And I'm going to hand it over to Pete to say thank you to somebody very special.
What's up, guys? Well, it was fun to do that conference. I can tell you that. Was it not exciting? I mean, awesome speakers. You know, are you guys ready for next year's? I know I am. I mean, it was a group effort. Everyone that participated helped make that conference be successful. So it wasn't just, how it was put on. It was the outcome. The outcome was just awesome. Thank everyone who came out, all the sponsors that participated. And obviously, I couldn't do all this, without our executive director. Shaun and I communicated every day to make sure this thing was just going to, take effect. And so, positive leadership, it was because of Shaun, and I appreciate that. So that's the reason why he's an awesome executive director for this chapter. So thanks, Shaun. Where you at? No, thank you.
Oh. Hey, guys, that was an awesome conference. How many of you actually went? Awesome. All right, how many are going to come next year? Hell yeah. All right, we've got so many compliments from National NORML about our conference that costs about, half the cost of a national NORML conference. Yeah, I said that right. And Keith Strop, founder of NORML, he was blown away by our presence. He was blown away by all that we're accomplishing here in Texas. A lot of people, they just have no idea how strong the movement here is in Texas. That's why we try to make a big, loud presence online all the time. It's because people from all over the world are following what we're doing and asking how we're doing what we're doing as if there's some sort of, formula for success for what we're doing. But it's cool because the more that we come out and do things like this, do the conference, we have these large, powerful showings of force for the movement. It gets noticed and it gets remembered and it gets talked about again and again, and it inspires other activism. So for everyone who helped with the conference, I bow to you for helping me because that was an undertaking and a half. I mean, it was, I stressed the hell out for a long time about that conference. And we have one tiny little piece of it left. We've got maybe 10 of these very cool conference posters that were created by one of our volunteers. His name is Matthew Warlick. He's an excellent illustrator. So if anybody wants to make a donation to DFW NORML, then come and make a donation to us, and we'll give you a poster to say thank you. So
I wanted to take a little bit of time up here today to talk to people about commitment. If you're serious about being an activist for this organization, the first thing that you have to be is truly committed at heart. You have to actually believe the things that we're talking about and then go out somewhere with an agenda and specific things on that agenda to get people to believe. Because if not, then we're all just talking about the things that we've been talking about for 100 years in this country. It's like, hey, everybody should smoke weed, whatever. But if we don't have an actual goal in mind towards that, something that we're working towards, it's a physical thing that we can measure what our success or failures are, then it's kind of pointless. So we have a list of goals that we've come up with as a board of directors, and we're going to be posting those on the website, specific things that we haven't been posting in the past. And I'd like to challenge each and every one of you to go and look and find out what those goals are, and then see if there's something that you have, that you do in your professional life or that you have experience in the past that you could contribute to some of these specific goals that we have. Because one of the biggest things that I've heard from volunteers and members since I've joined is that you need to know what you can actually do to help. And that's a hard question to answer for people like us because we just stepped up to the plate whenever we joined this organization and said, we just want to help, but we didn't know what actually needed helping. We just know that the overall goal is to legalize marijuana. But that's a very, very broad premise, especially when you think about doing it in a state like Texas, because our legal system is very different than a lot of places, very different from the places we see on TV that are passing marijuana laws. And that requires us to have that knowledge. It's our responsibility to know the laws that we live under so that we have the ability to change them. And I see a lot of people that show up and have these abilities and have this stuff in their history and the drive, the motivation that is needed to progress this cause, but I don't see a lot of the confidence in that. I feel like a lot of you may not know how successful you would be as a daily activist, someone that goes out and talks to people just at the businesses that you frequent, whether it's at your lunchtime or the people at your job. And I understand that some people have jobs where you may have to keep this under wraps for whatever reasons. There's a multitude. But that doesn't mean that you can't be opening people's minds to the idea of this reform with simple statements. You know, even if it's to bring up a newly passed law in another state. Like when you say, oh, well, did you hear that Vermont just passed whatever law? Then you can at least judge what their response is and know whether or not you should use your time to persuade them to come out and see what we're doing here and to go on our website and look at these goals that we're going to be putting out for everybody. And I think that it will be a good starting point for all of you activists that come out here and actually want to try to contribute something to the cause to find a niche for yourself.
We're not going to win the drug war as only NORML. I'm sorry to break that to you if you believe it that way. The way that we're going to do this is by reaching out and partnering with other people like the ACLU, veteran organizations, Moms Against Marijuana, what have it. So what we've been working on with NORML since the conference is finding organizations that already are, have like-minded individuals to ourselves. So one of the things that we're doing is we have, I'm the executive director of U.N.T, but I'm also the veteran coordinator for DFW NORML. And most of the chapters in Texas now have veteran coordinators. Dave Bass does it down out of Austin. I do it out of DFW. So one of the things that we are working towards right now, Dave Bass is working towards getting us a partnership with the DAV, which is the Disabled American Veterans, because what better organization to reach out to than guys who could use our help? PTSD is a very severe thing. Traumatic brain injury is a very severe thing, and marijuana helps it. So why are we denying our vets access to it? However, the issue with the DAV is that they're older people. They're older, more conservative males. They tend to be more from the Korea era compared to where the VFW, their leadership is more from the Vietnam era. And what I'm going at with that comparison there is that Nam era people were smoking pot in Nam, and they were smoking pot when they got home, and then they got really pissed off whenever we took the pot away. So we are working in the Dallas area to form partnerships with the VFW and with another organization called Wounded Heroes. Now, a lot of people like to say that they support the troops, but the fact of the matter is that they just like stickers on their car. So what DFW NORML is going to do, on August 3rd, we're putting together a barbecue down at the Dallas VA hospital. And the point of this is the people who are reaching out to are long-term patients who are in the hospital recovering from substance abuse problems. So we're not going to have merch there. We're not going to sell anything. We're only going to try and raise money to partner up with other organizations. We're going to go down there. We're going to feed our vets. We're going to have a good time, and we're going to spread education with them about what marijuana can do for our veterans, what marijuana can do for our country, because these guys have sworn an oath to protect this nation, and they still want to hold up to that oath, and they want to medicate themselves, so why not? But I really want you guys to all show up. We've already got about 60 to 70 people RSVP'd on the Facebook page. What I need from you guys, if you can cook, if you can bake, whatever you can do, I need you to help. We're looking to feed anywhere from 150 to 200 people, so you guys I need your support. The chapter, we have money, but we can't feed that many people on our own. We do have a sponsor who's going to fill in the gaps. That's Meaty Cuts Barbecue. But whatever you guys can do, they're just going to fill in the gaps in between. So try and get with me either online or towards the end of the meeting here, and let's get some stuff squared away. Let's form these partnerships, and let's take care of our vets the right way.
A couple of things I wanted to talk about today. One of them is that we don't have my prop is gone. Fruity Meaty Cuts was supposed to be here, and they were kind of my prop. But we come to these meetings, and we have food vendors, and most of us, we smell the barbecue. We go, oh, that's good. Let's get some of that. Or, we buy before the meeting, or we buy during the meeting, or whatever. But there are some people here that are going, man, I'm hungry. I haven't eaten all day. Some of those people may have been waiting for a check on Friday, and it didn't come in. Maybe they were waiting on it on Saturday, and it still didn't get here. So they're really, really hungry. They're here at the meeting, and they don't have anything to eat, and they don't have any money to buy it. So Janice and I were talking with Shaun, and we decided that that really wasn't acceptable. So what we want to do here is we're going to start a normal kitty. And what the normal kitty is a little bank that we're going to put up with each of our sponsoring food sponsors when they're here with us. And if you have a couple of dollars left over from your purchase, put it in the bank. And then whoever is here that for whatever reasons is not able to buy their own meal, but they're really hungry and they need to eat, then we'll take care of them, because we at NORML are family, and we take care of our own. So, Kitty's hungry, feed her.
Nan drove 2.5 hours today, and her car doesn't have any air conditioning, just for this meeting. Give her a round of applause. This is a dedicated activist. All right. Thank you for coming up. Nan, I'd like you to tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do, where you live, and NORML down in your area.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, my name is Nan Jenkins, and I've been, like he said, coming to NORML meetings all over Texas and all over the United States ever since NORML has existed, basically. I live in a little town called Cisco. I don't know. And so if anybody knows these little towns in Texas, activism is kind of frowned upon there. And the type of job that I have is management in a nursing home. So I kind of have to keep my activism far and wide. I come to all of the meetings all over the place. But we are working on Eastland County. We're going to try to get us a NORML chapter set up for Eastland County as soon as possible.
We're going to talk about the promise that's out there for patients who traditional medicine has failed, and we're going to talk about the MMJ Muse project, which I founded, and all we do is CBD research, and we try to give hope to patients who have lost all hope. And I'll tell you what, we have found the most interesting thing, the most exciting thing that I've found in years. We have been on a search for the Holy Grail. We've been looking for a high CBD strain of sativas for years. They don't exist. Okay, you'll see THC strains out there that go 18, 19, 20, 25, 26%. In the case of Jack the Ripper, nobody has been breeding weed to have high CBD contents. And it's the high CBDs where we're seeing efficacy in TBIs, traumatic brain injuries, seizures, epilepsy, lupus, cancer, tumor size remission. We're seeing all these exciting things, and they're coming out of CBDs. I just happened to get an email about 10 minutes ago, and I found a strain that I've been looking for 5 years. Most weed, most medical marijuana contains CBDs in the range of about 3 to 5%. If you find one in 4% that consistently labs out, it's got high CBDs. 5%, it's very high. I just found a strain that tests out consistently at up to 12% CBDs. This is triple the normal amount. This is a sativa strain, and this has been the holy grail that we've been looking for 2 years for some of my patients that are in the most dire straits of them all. And we found it. The name of the strain is Gravity. It's got 15% THC, and it's got from 9 to 12% CBDs in it, depending on which lab you believe. There's 3 different labs in Seattle that have checked it out, and they vary from 9 to 12%. This is exciting shit, because we don't have to use concentrates to get to the levels that are going to have the efficacy to reduce the tumors in little children like Cash Hyde and other children who are suffering across the world, and other patients who need this when traditional medicine has failed them.
We adopted a street in Fort Worth on Carroll Street. This is what it looks like. So let me give you a little bit about how this got started. We talked about, last year we were sitting around talking about, like most things happen, talking about what can we do to get some visibility regularly on in any community around the organization. We thought, well, maybe we could do that, and started looking for instances what we could do on a regular basis. Loretta had a great thing a while back where we went and cleaned up Lake Arlington, a whole group of us. It was fantastic. We got a lot of good feedback from that, and a lot of folks who didn't know who we were asking questions. Well, who are those folks? And there was that other group, I can't remember who they looked at us like, oh my God, are they going to pull out something we don't know what to do with? But they were cool, and they got to be friends. So we were looking at that. We wanted some kind of community outreach. We wanted people to know who we are. Who are these normal people, these guys that, oh my God, are they involved with marijuana? Well, we're your neighbors. We're the people down the street. We're taxpayers. They're doctors. They're attorneys. Everybody. So you can't shut your mind on it anymore. I remember at the March, I called one of the TV stations and said, are you guys covering this? And they said, well, what is it again? And I talked, and they said, oh, that marijuana thing. Well, that's listed under subculture, so that's going to be covered here. Way off on the side, it's like, what do you mean subculture? This is an American culture that has been part of America since America started. And it still is. And it's a huge subculture that a lot of people think is a subculture. They don't know that it's everywhere. Their neighbors. I mean, look at me. I look like your next door neighbor's dad or granddad. No, not granddad, just dad. So we wanted to do that, what we could do to have something. And we talked about it, looked up on the website, and they said, Beautify Fort Worth, they adopt a street. Well, hell, there you go. I mentioned it to Shaun. He said, do it. Well, that's where you begin your activism. You think of an idea. It's like, well, this needs to be done. Well, there you go. Go do it. That's where you take the responsibility and you say, hey, this is a good idea. Let me do this. You can ask people about it, ask for input, ask for support, but you go do it, and that's how things get done. It takes a long time. Let me tell you, with Fort Worth City, we started the communication last October, and it's taken till this past week to finally get it accomplished. 3 different departments, 8 different department heads. I have got reams and reams and reams of emails and phone call records to justify everything. It took a long time. Yes, we did it. We did it. The adoption requirements are going to be simple. Also, I'm going to have if you're interested, we're going to post it on Facebook when we get our first cleanup date, which we have to communicate with the city at least 7 days ahead of time. But I'll have a list out there. If you're on Facebook or you watch the list, that's fine. If you want to be specifically involved right now, I'll have a sign-up sheet and just how to get in contact. It's not specifically a sign-up, but if you're interested, we'll make sure that you are specifically notified if you want to help out with this. And somebody mentioned, what about Dallas? Well, that's a good question. What about Dallas? I live in Fort Worth, so this is where I've worked. I focused on my neighborhood, my community. Where do you live? Garland, Farmers Branch, Addison, anywhere. That's your community. What can you do there just to go let people know, hey, look who we are. We're not criminals. We're not crazy people. We're not the drug-addled sex addicts, well, maybe sex addicts, but we're just average people, and this is a culture that is here to stay and always will be. So let's see. And hopefully this will lead to more future things. If you want specifics about the adoptive program in Fort Worth and you can help out, ask me, contact me anytime. I'm on Facebook, Steve at DFWNORML.org. I'll share any experiences I've had getting this done to help you with that or anything else, as everybody at NORML is. So it's a great family. It's a great group of folks. And come out and help all you can. And you can be up here someday and have people looking at you and think, what a handsome fellow that is. But thank you guys for coming out so much, and let's see what we can do next, okay?
Really quick, I want to recognize my nomination for Cannabis All-Star of the Month. This man, not only him and his team ran audio video the entire time, the entire 2 days of our conference, he also put in probably a dozen man-hours working on this bus that we bought for our F and NORML tour. He's just a very dedicated person, and he's just really blown me away with his activism in the last month or so. So, Brent Dow, please come on up here. We meet a lot of people here when we work in NORML because we're a very diverse movement. But every time you meet somebody who just really, really not only puts their money where their mouth is, but is out there just sweating in the heat with you, working on something to get it done for NORML, you build a really strong bond with that type of person. It becomes more than just a friend. It becomes somebody that you really work with toward a goal, more like a compatriot. So, Brent, thank you for being a compatriot of DFW NORML. You want to say a few words?
I will be honest. I don't want to forget DeepLMOnAir.com, who one of my affiliates brought me in on the project, and he says, "Hey, can you come live stream the conference?" And I showed up that morning and to do an AV meeting, and the manager walks in. "So, what questions do you have?" And they point at me and they go, "Well, Brent's our AV guy," and I was like, "Okay, sure, why not?" And so I went to it, and it wound up being a lot of fun. We recorded all of the speakers. Some of them Shaun has, and he will be putting them up soon. It was a fantastic experience, and it was a great experience for me to be able to sit in a room and listen to all of these very intelligent, very knowledgeable people talk very intelligently about a subject that I'm kind of familiar with because I have severe ADD, and I've used this as a way to keep from wanting to kill people on a regular basis. So it was really nice, and everybody was wonderful. So it was a great experience, and thank all of you for all the time, and I especially want to thank Carl. We wouldn't have been able to record that whole thing if it wasn't for him tipping me off. So thank you, Carl.
Oh, this is really we wanted to present a hemp backpack to him as well. So here you go. Thank you so much for everything.
There's one person that did not get thanked that is the reason we have 40 freaking people to thank for the conference, and that is Roxy, our volunteer coordinator. Everybody give Roxy a hand. She's the one with the baby right here. Still working.
How many of y'all would be interested in throwing an event at Skydive Dallas in Melissa, Texas? Thank you. Thank you so much, because I'm planning it right around the same time that we were supposed to be doing the Flug Tag. And judging by the way the emails with the gentleman with Skydive Dallas is concerned, it is pretty much awesome. And the more people we have, the better it is for all of us. It's going to be cheaper. As of right now, for 15, if 15 of us come together, it comes down to $169. Now, our goal is to compile together and collect efforts so that some of the members that actually want to go can go for a little bit cheaper. So if y'all are interested, throw some money in the pot so that we can get this event going. Thanks, guys.
The first thing I want to say, being involved with the Texas Coalition for Compassionate Care, is that I've learned that marijuana is bad for you. You need to stop. Just bring it all to me, and I'll take care of it for you. Now, anyway, we do think that changing the laws in Texas is going to happen. I do believe that it's going to go all the way eventually someday. But right now, I think that what we need to do is focus on, like the other states that have got it legalized, they started off with the medical marijuana first. So we're going to have to change the laws there. And I got a chance to go down and talk to my representative while during this last session. I didn't get to talk to him personally, but I did talk to his, the main person in his office. And he came out and he was talking to us. He was being politically correct. There was a bunch of us in there. Josh from the Austin NORML was in there with us, and we kept poking him for questions. And he was being politically correct with us, telling us all the right things. But eventually he got to the point where after we needled him enough that he says, I'm not going to give you my personal opinion. And from that point on, he gave us his personal opinion. He was telling me and telling us that the Republican established in Texas is not going to bend on this. He did not care about hearing that 76% of Texans are for medical marijuana. Those aren't the ones that show up at the polls. The 26% or the 24% that actually show up and vote for them, those are the ones that are listened to. So in order to make a change in Texas, what we got to do is we got to show up at the primaries and start voting for them. The Texas primaries is in 2014. That's going to be the time that we can make the biggest impact on the changing laws in this state, will be to show up at the primaries. It does not matter. It's not going to matter which one you vote in. You can vote in the Republican or you can vote in the Democratic primary, and when the general election comes, you can still vote your party line. But we could disrupt this state at the political level if we'll show up in a mass at the primaries. You want to know who to vote for? The one that's in the office, get them out. Anyway, to tell you more about the Coalition for Compassionate Care, it is definitely a strong medical marijuana movement. It's one that we can all get behind and support because every single person knows somebody that can benefit from the medical use of marijuana. So what we want to do is we want to listen to Tracy, our 420 nurse. She can tell us all that we need to know.
So, hi guys, I'm Tracy. I'm the outreach coordinator for the Texas Coalition for Compassionate Care. I'm also the Texas and Dallas chapter leader for Moms to Marijuana. I would really like to thank all of you for making that conference possible and allowing us to have speakers and a table. You guys rock. Please give yourselves a hand. Come on. I mean, look what you pulled off. Look what you guys accomplished. First time in Texas. Way to go, and thank you again. I would like to tell you a little bit about what we do. At the Coalition, we are really we gather people from each different type of organization, and we're trying to focus on patient needs. I'm a nurse. It fits naturally with me. I want to advocate for patients. I want to be able to identify their needs and help them in Texas. I need your help with that. I need you to send us the patients so that we can talk to them and find out what they need from us. We need to be out there advocating for them and then only have to bring them in when it's really important. So what we're going to do next month, from August 17th to 21st, we are taking our information to Louis Colcourt's backyard. The Williamson County Fair is August 17th through 21st in Brenham. Someone want to go eat some ice cream with me? Huh? Yeah. Okay, we need to because she is the chair of the Public Health Committee, and that's where the medical defense bill has been put for the last several sessions. She did give us a hearing this time, but she wouldn't take a vote. So we don't know if we even had the support because she wouldn't give it a vote, and she has sole discretion whether to call a hearing or have a vote after she gives us a hearing. So we need to go out and find out about her constituency, talk to them and let them know that, Texans deserve compassion. I would like to suggest to you guys, just from personal experience, I started volunteering at the VA 5 years ago. 5. 2 years, I came out of the closet with the program director of the substance abuse program. He's going with us next session to testify. They're letting us do this picnic on August 3rd. You gotta go in the closet sometimes again, folks. I know it feels so good to let your freak flags fly, but you gotta get back in the closet occasionally. Dress like a Republican. Dress like a Republican, go to Austin. Dress like a Republican, work your butts off. Come on, all of you closet people. You're already working, you already work twice as hard as your non-smoking counterparts because you don't want to be classified as a lazy stoner even though they don't know you're a stoner at work, right? So work around them. Show them how hard we work. This is what I did. I had to go a little undercover. It's paid off. It's paid off, guys. We are having a picnic on the VA property. We're not having to bring them outside. We get to go there. But come out and help us, please. Send patients our way. We've gotten press releases. We've helped people. We can't do as much as we'd like, but we're getting there. And we need your support when the medical bill gets another hearing. Come sign in. The patients were there for the decrim bill. The decrim bill announcer under really doesn't help patients that much. But the majority of the people that testified at the decrim bill were patients. Patients are grasping at straws. We need to help them, and we need to help them so that they don't hurt themselves by coming out and advocating for themselves. So I hope to see you out there, guys. Thanks.
I'm Derek Cross, and I'm a hempaholic. Okay? I'm a hemp chef. I'm a writer. I cook with hemp seeds and hemp oil. And I spoke at the conference. Thank you, DFW NORML. Thank you, DFW NORML. I appreciate the opportunity. And as Will mentioned, as far as advocacy goes, I've written articles for newspapers. I've been on the radio, Cannabis Nation Radio, Medical Marijuana Radio, iCannabis Radio. There's a lot of these radio stations out there, and I've been on them. I'll be touring up in Wisconsin, going on a couple other radio shows, advocating for industrial hemp as well as medical cannabis. And we all know that the medicinal cannabis is healing people, but the industrial hemp, a lot of people aren't really aware of. Some of you are, some of you aren't. When I left speaking, I never had this ever happen to me before, but in this community, a lot of people aren't educated about hemp. They know it as jewelry or rope, but it's more than that. It's a lot more. I made a comment that the industrial hemp will dwarf the money as far as the medical cannabis money, okay? We can fuel our cars with this. We can have plastics that we can throw, recyclable, clean, healthy, biodegradable, sustainable living for those little ones that were just out here, for those little babies, for generations to come. We have to remember that industrial hemp was the reason why medical cannabis was prohibited against in the first place. A lot of people don't understand that. It was big industry that took this medicine to the level it's at now. And for 80 years, we've been fighting it. Well, I deal with hemp foods, hemp seeds, hemp oil, and hemp, everything hemp, basically. I got hemp soap. I'm working on my wardrobe as hemp. I want to be able to show people, and I'm actually raising money to go take this on the road. I'm working with a company in Colorado to write a new bill here for Texas to get the farmers on board because we can have here in Texas 2 crops at least to fuel America and fuel yourself. Hemp oil, industrial hemp oil is high in omegas 3, 6s, and 9s. I use it. That's how I got started with hemp. I used it on my skin for eczema. Just simple skin. I was tired of putting things on my skin that would actually make my skin, spread and red. And I started using hemp oil on my legs, and it works, okay? It's not a overnight. You're going to have to continually apply it, but it's safe. It's not like a baby oil. I eat it. I make vinaigrettes with it, and the hemp oil, I put it on my skin. It's got vitamins D, E, B, and C. I could talk about hemp all day long. I'm online at Hemp Healthy Today. That's my blog. I'm on Facebook, Hemp Healthy Today. So whenever you see anything coming from me, it's Hemp Healthy Today. And like I said, I'm working, and I need help to educate more people. What I do online, you'll see my posts, but I want to reach a broader audience. I want to take the show on the road, basically. So I created a GoFundMe page so I can generate income to go on the road and put together a platform like this, get a little better at speaking. I thank you for being patient with me, but that's what I want to be able to do is help educate more people hemp. And to put it in your diet, it lowers blood pressure, cholesterol. It'll improve your cardiovascular circulation, improve your immunity levels. So as medical cannabis helps heal cancers, this helps your immune system on the inside. So you can be healthy on the inside and out. Long live hemp, you know. So the other thing I want to say is please be hemp healthy with me today and every day. And also, I'll end this with, by not legalizing industrial hemp is like starving next to a loaf of bread. Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, I think that about wraps it up for us. So I want to thank everybody for coming out. Everybody give yourselves a hand for coming out. June meeting. Our next meeting is going to be back in Fort Worth. We're going to start a back and forth type of treatment where, this month we're in Dallas, next month we're in Fort Worth to kind of reach as many people as possible. So it'll be the last Saturday of the month at the Whiskey Girl Saloon. You can join us for our next meeting. But otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and close this down. And what time is it? Let's see here. It's 5:30 now, so by 5:45, we're going to do the raffle for the grinder and the magical butter machine. So hang out, go see the table, go check out that grinder, buy some raffle tickets, and you could win in 15 minutes. Thanks very much, guys. Herb's the word.